Good morning, I'm Tony Parker and my wife Gillian is the church warden here at St Raphael's, which has become rather famous for its snowdrops. And as you can see, we've got our first dusting of snow overnight. I really do enjoy trying to preserve the tranquility of this chapel. Now, no one's quite sure how long the snowdrops have actually been here at St Raphael's, but it's a fair guess that they at least predate the date of the chapel, because here the church was actually made from an old Devon longhouse in the 15th century, and my guess is probably the Devon longhouse would have had a garden, and as you know, snowdrops are all over the Devon hedgerows and gardens. People often ask, do I actually encourage the snowdrops to propagate, to multiply? Well, the answer is there's absolutely no need, because nature is such a wonderful thing here that snowdrop bulbs are a little bit like an onion in that little bulblets come off the side and sometimes they wash down the bank, and usually I just pick them up, and I've got one in my hand just here off the path that we've just picked. And just to show you what happens, so this is a last year's snowdrop and this is the baby bulblet, and we'll take a closer look in a moment at all the ones that have either come down through the rain, or usually a mole has come up and probably brought 75 up, or even a squirrel. The squirrels don't like them and they spit them out, and that's why on the wall we've got quite a few bulbs and bulblets for the last few years, where the squirrels, it's toxin to them. But you probably do know they love daffodil bulbs, and if you want to keep daffodil bulbs away from the squirrel, you just plant some snowdrops. I'm often asked what snowdrops mean to me. Well, unfortunately I can't show them right this second because the snow is covering them, and so I have brought a picture of what the bank side looks like, and we think there are between 15 and 20,000 snowdrops here, and they're all naturally occurring. They haven't been planted by anyone, and I do love this time of year when it's like the first sign of hope of spring, and even the farmers used to celebrate the snowdrop coming out because they felt it was the time that the young lambs would appear a long time ago. And it's a wonderful sign of how something so small, so tender and so beautiful can still spring into life through the snow. And in fact in France I think they're called snow piercers, and in Italy they're called snow punchers. But it's just a marvellous little optimistic sign, and particularly now where we've had about 10 months of lockdowns, it's just a sign of hope, at a time that we can celebrate there actually is some light, because that's what the snowdrop's trying to do. It's trying to pierce the snow to get some light, and hopefully we will see some light at the end of the tunnel by the end of this year. And I think I mentioned outside that we had about 15,000 snowdrops, and in a 3-week period from round about Candlemas Day, so the 2nd of February, through till Mother's Day, which is usually about March the 20th, we have over 1,000 people who come here, which is remarkable really for a very small chapel. And part of it is because of the peace and tranquility that it offers. And this year, because of COVID, we have installed a homemade prayer tree. And this is in 3 weeks the number of individuals who've passed here, walking, they're walking the dogs, cycling, and they call into the chapel and they post their own prayers. And a lot of them are actually about COVID, hoping that we all get out of this pandemic, and some very personal and very emotional prayers too. So it's just the illustration of how many people come to this tiny little chapel in the middle of Dartmoor.